Welcome back to DIY My Way. Today I'm going to be cutting some more trails through the woods. So let me walk you through it so you can see what I'm going to do today. Just to get you oriented a little bit, this is one of the main sections of the trail one of the earliest that I cut. That's right along the fence line that borders the property and the pasture of our neighbor. And this winds on up to what I call the Enchanted Hill way up there. And what this trail here will do is cut across quite a ways. Well, actually, let's go ahead and start walking it. I've got some highs and lows to level out. There's a little mild gully here, but I think I can scrape that out with the front end loader. Get it leveled out. This is for my benefit as much as it is for yours, so I can get reacquainted with this area, because it's been a while since I marked it and walked it. There will also be another section of trail that will be cut that will lead to the culvert crossing that I installed just a while back, and that is actually down through there, and we'll meet up with this, what will be a new section of trail right in here. And it's pretty rough going.
This little tree doesn't know it yet, but today it's coming down.
So we'll see. I may have to come back with the backhoe, but I'm just going to get down any trees and brush first. Let's see. I drifted north of the actual trail, which is going to be along there, and meet up with this section, which is fairly new and not totally polished out, but it is passable right here. This still needs some work, but this meets on up the hill there with the other trails, and that's a shortcut that goes along the gully and comes back out toward our own pasture.
This is where my BXpanded Piranha toothbar can shine. Cutting trails has been much easier and faster since I got it. I find cutting trails very enjoyable. One reason is with the help of Big Orange I can make a lot of progress in a day, so it's a big feeling of accomplishment. And of course, just being in the woods is always fun. Do you enjoy trail building? Let me know in the comments. You can see by how the tractor is leaning side to side as it moves forward that the ground underneath that brush is very uneven in a lot of places.
Something worth noting when you're building trails, if you've got vines like this that lead up into the tops of trees, you do not want to just plow through that with your front end loader or anything, because you have no idea what you may pull down on you. So when you come across these, when I come across these, I'll just generally cut them at the ground and up high if I can, just to get them out of the way. I have even, and I may do it in this case, cut this off and then literally tie it off back out of the way, but not try to pull it down unless, and I may do this, we'll see. I may cut it off, then tie it at the front end loader and back up, and then pull it out, because that looks like fairly skinny stuff that gets up in there. I'm coming right beside it, so I could almost leave it, but it would be brushing against vehicles and stuff. So we'll see if we can maybe snag it and pull it down with the fell backing up. That way anything that drops will drop here, and by then I'll be back up that way a ways.
I'll use one of the logging chains from my chain boxes and wrap it around the vine, which is about 1.5 inches thick at the base. I put the excess chain in the bucket and hook the chain to one of my bucket grab hooks. Wish me luck. Nothing yet. I'm surprised it hasn't pulled down yet. Ah, it's starting to pull loose. I've reached the other trail and will have to turn the corner. Jeez, really? Now I'm about to pull the vine against the tree on the left. Maybe, just maybe, come on, come on. Well, doo-doo.
Well, I hate it when a plan comes apart instead of comes together. So now I have a worse situation. I should have just cut it and tucked it back. So this broke off almost where I had it connected to the tractor in the thickest spot. The last thing I would expect it to do, and having done this several times before, never had an issue with it. It usually pulled it down plus limbs plus whatever from the other tree. But what I now have is this thing strung up and looped over this little tree, hanging up in a big ball of limbs and mess right up there. If I can get my camera to see it. Hope you're seeing that. I don't see it in the viewfinder, but maybe you do. It's right there. That is a mess. So eventually that's just gonna fall down right on the trail, and hopefully not on someone who's on it, but I'm not sure there's much more I can do. I could try to pull it loose from this tree. That's just lovely.
Okay, moving right along. Let's get back to trailblazing. Sometimes I get lucky and manage a long push through the brush like this. If the tree roots aren't too big, I can cut right through them. When making trails in the woods, I'm not going for a trail as smooth as a paved road. I want it smooth enough to ride on and walk on with as few trip hazards as possible. Some sections of my trails are still a little rough to ride on with a tractor, but fine for riding in our Ranger or walking. As far as trail maintenance goes, it's mainly picking up fallen limbs or cutting up fallen trees across the trail. So I always have my chainsaw with me on the tractor and on the Ranger when riding the trails. Sometimes I have to fill in settling stump holes with rocks. Remember that tree I pointed out? I never did like this tree. It's a little too close to the trail edge and leaning inward. It's got to go. And go it does. Back on Big Orange. Yikes, the left rear tire found a stump hole and has Big Orange leaning well past my comfort zone. Remind me to fill that in later. Almost to the other trail, just a few yards more. Oops, perhaps a little too close to the camera.
Okay, I've intersected the other trail, actually quicker than I thought, which runs from that direction up the hill that way. Now next up, I think I'm going to go get the back blade and see about smoothing this out a little bit more.
Let's pause it right there and save the back blade work for part 2. If you enjoy these videos, please help me keep them coming by clicking the like button, commenting below, and subscribing. Thanks for watching.